Alright, movie fans, today we're going back, and we're going back to Pandora. I thought it fitting since we were getting a re release of Avatar within the coming days. I think it's the 23rd. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe it's coming out pretty soon. The re release of the original Avatar. That's right, the blue people, tall blue people that, you know, we thought were entertaining as crap back in 2009. And the reason that they're re-releasing this one is probably just to get the hype up for Way of Water, Avatar, the sequel, coming out this December. So yeah, let's delve back into the world of Pandora and let's discuss it. So this movie came out back in 2009. I won't say how old I was. It was, I'm not going to date myself by doing that. But, uh, but yeah, Avatar 2009. It was one of the first big budget 3D movies that sort of put that whole thing in the movie industry, and kind of it was hot at that time when it did come out. Several movies afterwards tried to do the whole 3D thing, and since then 3D has kind of fell off. Um, you know, gives people headaches. It's messes with them, especially if you wear glasses. And plus that, and then it's so expensive. 3D movie, to go see it, it was way more expensive than just the regular version. And it's whatever. But anyway, Avatar, really cool visual effects movie that James Cameron put out. He's a visionary in itself. From Titanic to Terminator 2, the man's got a resume. Um, Great lead actor, Sam Worthington. This was kind of his big breakout moment. He plays the lead character, Jake Sully. Zoe Saldana, she plays the love interest, one of the, one of the aliens, the Na'vi. I was trying to think of the word. And just a great cast. You got all kinds of people in this movie. Just really good. Sigourney Weaver's in this. She does a great job. Um, the villain is superb. I mean, he's got this whole military swagger thing down that, you know, he's just perfect in it. Stephen Lang, great actor. First thing I ever saw him on was Tombstone. I believe he played Ike Clinton. Anyway, great actor, does a great job. The story, really good. A lot of people said, oh, it's original. It's, first original thing Hollywood's done in a long time. And that is true. The idea itself, Avatar is, or I should say was, very new as far as the technology used, the scenery, the backdrop. But the overall story of a soldier that is sent in to an indigenous people and sort of to learn about them, and sort of falls in love with the culture, the people, aliens in this case, and even falls in love with one of the women. You want to know where that's familiar from and why it's not original to me? Is Dances with Wolves. That's right, Kevin Costner epic, where this Union soldier, cavalry soldier, sort of gets involved with this tribe of Indians on the plains, and winds up becoming their ally, even helping protect them. Falls in love with one of the women folk there, if you will. So yeah, Avatar was very similar to me with Dances with Wolves. You may not agree, but go back and watch both and tell. You'll be sitting a while because both of them's 3 hours. That's like a 6-hour total movie watching experience. But I'm telling you, the only thing different for me was the backdrop and the setting. One's in space, one's set in the Old West. Anyway, I digress. Avatar as a whole, though, is a really good movie. It works. It's got some really great action in it. Some, like I said, great visual effects. You give James Cameron enough time, and he will hit you with something that is really good, effects-wise, and most of the time story-wise. So yeah, Avatar for me works. It was a good movie. It's a classic. It's been what, 13, going on 14 maybe years since it came out. So there has been quite a bit of time between this one and the sequel. And I have read an article where James Cameron has said he's a little concerned that he might have waited too long to put out Avatar 2. And that, it's facing a lot of pressure. I wrote an article on it on my blog about that. James Cameron said that it's under a lot of pressure, and it is. I'd hate to know how much is spent on it. It's got to be north of $200 million to $300 million that they spent on this movie. So yeah, there's a lot riding on Avatar: Way of the Water. Anyway, back to the original, the 2009 Avatar. It was a good cinematic experience. This was a movie that you had to experience on the big screen, and I did. I was fortunate enough to be able to get to go see it. Really great. That being said, with it coming out re-released, if I had the time and it wasn't working, I probably would try to go watch it again, because it's just so cool on the big screen. It's one of those experiences you got to have. So if you are off and you are able to go see Avatar, the re-release in theaters, look it up. I'm not sure. I want to say it's the 23rd. Maybe this weekend, actually. If you are fortunate enough to, I recommend it. Even if you've done seen it, look, I'll go see a movie I've done seen in theaters again. All the time. Flashback cinema, it's awesome. We get classics that we can kind of revisit on the big screen, and this is one of those experiences you gotta have. Avatar was made for the theater. They took it off of Disney Plus. It was on there where you could stream for free, but they took it off, and we know why, because they're re-releasing it back in theaters, and they want people to they want to get that $10 from you for a ticket rather than a free stream. So, what is your thoughts on Avatar? Did it appeal to you? Did it resonate? Was it good? Did it entertain you? Are you ready for the sequel? I am. I'm going to watch it. The trailers have been minimal on footage and dialogue. I think there's maybe 4 words in the total trailer. So James Cameron's playing it close to the chest with Avatar 2, which is good if you think about it. I mean, yeah, I'd love to see more footage to kind of know what I'm expecting, but I like to be surprised when I go into the theater and I sit down with my popcorn. I like to not know what's coming. And oftentimes in today's culture, I feel like everything available online, we spoil it for ourselves. And so, kudos to James Cameron for not really giving us a whole lot. Just enough to kind of whet our appetite, and then smart enough to re-release the original back in theaters. And I think that's just to kind of find a fan base with today's younger audiences and kids, so that they're kind of aware of the whole Avatar situation. Now, back to the fact that James Cameron said that he was a little bit nervous at the fact that he's waited so long to release the second one. Here's the thing. When Avatar came out in 2009, it was instantly greenlit for a sequel. And that's been 13 years ago. So, here's my thinking on that. James Cameron has the talent. If you give him time, he can give you an amazing sequel. For instance, Terminator came out in the 80s, mid 80s, somewhere in there. It was a great movie, directed by James Cameron. I think he actually wrote it too. Fast forward all the way to the 90s, he gives us the first sequel to it, Terminator 2: Judgment Day. The movie was great. It was totally original and felt different from the first one in every aspect of the situation. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm giving James Cameron, I'm giving him a shot with this, because I think he's one of those directors, if you give him time, you give him enough time and material, and plus technology has vastly, it grows by the year. So I'm thinking Avatar 2, Way of Water could be a hit. We shall see in December. But talking about the original, like I said, it's 3 hours long, but it doesn't feel like a long movie because it's moving at a pace that you can kind of feel comfortable with. You're entertained with its pace that it sets. Great action, great scenes, visually mind blowing. At the time it was groundbreaking at the time, and so yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up. I loved Avatar, and I'm ready for the sequel. So if you like Avatar, you like what we talk about here at Cody's Movie Cave, and you want to see more, and if you got suggestions for movies for me to talk about, for me to view, 9 times out of 10 I've probably already seen it. So here's what you do: you subscribe, you like, and you comment and say, hey, what about this movie? What you think about it? We'll talk about it. As always, my opinion. You may have your own, but this is my opinion. Opinions are like box sides. Everybody's got one. Some, if not most, stink.